So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this meeting of the Board of Education of Anne Arundel County. This meeting is being televised live on AACPS TV and streamed on AACPS YouTube channel. General information and protocols for the meeting are posted on the sign by the doorway as you enter the room. So please make sure that you read those if you have not already done so. At this time, we'll have our invocation. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance, stir us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. And now for our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And so we're going to move on to item 2.03, approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
I hear a motion, a second. We have consensus. And we do. So item 2.04, establish the agenda order this evening. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to establish the agenda order as written.
Second.
Do we have consensus? And we do. Before we continue, I would like to let everyone know that Dr. Tobin is not with us this evening, and she sends her regrets. She's a bit under the weather, and so we certainly wish Dr. Tobin get well soon. Okay, item 2.05, our Student Equity in Action Spotlight.
Good afternoon. Today is our final Student Equity in Action Spotlight recognitions for the school year, and what a fantastic group that's earned our recognition. The Bell Grove Elementary School Bulldogs, leading and succeeding together, or BLAST student leadership team provides opportunities for students to gather resources for those in need. For the past 3 years, they have led the campaign to collect cans and pull tabs to donate to Ronald McDonald House in Baltimore. The Ronald McDonald House recycles the pull tabs and uses the money to pay for resources for children and families during their stay. In the first year, the team was able to collect 86 pounds of canned tabs, and last year, they collected 66 pounds of canned tabs. After the collection was over, the team was able to visit the Ronald McDonald House to hand over and deliver the tabs and go on a tour of the facility. This school year, the team has led a campaign to collect hygiene items to create kits for the Convoy of Hope, a nonprofit organization. The Convoy of Hope provides disaster relief through food supplies and humanitarian service to impoverished populations. The team was able to collect enough supplies to make over 40 personal hygiene kits. These are only a few examples of what BLAST does to give back. The team helps to create and maintain a safe, diverse, and inclusive school environment at Belle Grove Elementary School. Each month, they are tasked with creating an equitable theme spirit. They ensure that all students have the access to participate. The team consists of members who are visible, positive role models. They read to classes, serves as peer buddies, and help serve as a hallway monitor at the end of the day to ensure dismissal of safe and order to ensure the dismissal is safe and orderly. Additionally, the member serves as spokespersons to and greeters when there are VIP guests who attends the schools for events. The team helps engage with fellow classmates and provide feedback regarding the school solutions and concerning creating a suggestion box. As a result of this comment of the comment box, students have been able to reinstate students and reinstate positive office referrals. They've asked for and received new playground equipment, inquired about differentiation of menus, and created new and innovative spirit days. They've also created a special edition position behavior token, inspired various club events, and created a contest to help keep the bathrooms clean at schools. That's commendable all by itself. These students help to represent the voice of the students at Belle Grove. For these reasons, the staff and fellow students are very proud of what work they have accomplished and look forward to all the great opportunities in the future. So, for all these amazing examples of inclusivity, the Board of Education awards the Bulldogs Leading and Succeeding Together Student Leadership Team for May 2025 Student Equity and Action Spotlight. Would you please come forward and accept this award? Wow, congratulations. Okay, what's your name?
Isabella.
Isabella?
Hi.
Kai? Eli?
William.
William?
Penny.
Penny, I forgot my name too.
Catherine Robinson, student facilitator.
Lindsay Thompson, student facilitator.
All right, so welcome, and let me ask Ms. Thompson and
Miss Thompson, Miss Robinson.
Ms. Robinson, what brought you all here this afternoon? Did you know you was going to get recognized?
Yeah, I was the one that put it in, me and Miss Thompson. They do a lot of hard work at our school. We're very proud of them. They work really hard. Anything that's presented to the table, they always say yes to. They bring things to the table to ask me to do, and we work really hard to make all of their dreams come true. So
Wow.
they deserve the recognition.
Would you like to say interview? Come on, who's the spokesperson?
I like how all of us were able to work together and do lots of things together to help the school be a better place.
Thank you all very much. Can we give them a round of applause?
Congratulations.
So once again, congratulations, Bulldogs, Belle Grove. I have to say that Belle Grove, my wife graduated from Belle Grove some time ago. My colleagues and I, and Dr. Bedell, we've been out there. There's so many great things that are happening there. What a blast. What a blast. Dr. Bedell, they've had a pretty good year, Belle Grove, you think?
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of rock stars over at that school. Absolutely.
You really are rock stars. Once again, a round of applause. So we're going to be moving on to item 2.06, our 2025 Military Service Award. Miss Pullum.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're going to honor our awardees for the Candace Antwine Military Service Award. The Military Service Award in honor of Candace C.W. Antwine was established in 2021 to honor the military and civic service of Miss Antwine, a Navy veteran and former member of the Board of Education of Anne Arundel County. Miss Antwine was a committed and passionate voice for military families and children in need throughout Anne Arundel County. She served the nation in active duty, reserve, and civil servant capacities, and was a member of the Board of Education from 2018 until her death in 2021. The award will be given each May to AACPS students who have made similar commitment by enlisting to serve in the United States military upon graduation. It assists awardees with initial expenses related to enlisting, including basic training supplies, and aims to remove financial barriers to military service. The board this year officially awarded the recipients at a reception on May 15th. Today, the Board of Education is recognizing the 3 recipients during our business meeting. The recipients of the 4th Military Service Award in honor of Candace C.W. Antwine for 2025 are Stance DeHaven, Kimberlyn Oriana, and Navia Queen. If the 3 of you could come up here to receive your award, that would be great. Thank you. This is for you. So this is a picture frame for everyone in the audience, and it's titled "Joining the Ranks of Our Community Leaders." What you have here in the picture are pictures of our elected officials and their military uniforms. So Mr. Silkworth, Ms. Dan, and Ms. Sarah McDermott are in the pictures, and along with some of our other elected officials with your picture. So that way you can take that with you as a reminder. We also have a citation for you. And the reason each student received the picture frame, but Navia was not able to join us. So I want to make sure that she gets that this evening. We also have a citation for you as well. And this is something as well. This is a pin. This is for you with the U.S. and Maryland flag, so you never forget your home. Yep. Oh, I think I put it on the wrong side. Sorry about that. It's okay. All right. So tonight, we handed out the awards on Thursday, but tonight you received the checks. So this is the big night. This is for Kimberly.
Thank you.
Stan. Thank you. Thank you so much on behalf of all of us here for your service. This is a board award. Oh, yeah, are we gonna take them out here, or, oh, we'll do one here and then,
We
okay.
can do both, whatever you guys are comfortable with.
So happy for you guys. Where are the parents? Can the parents raise their hands? Congratulations. We accept grandmas too.
So thank you. We're going to be taking a brief break for some photographs in the lobby. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're going to be moving on to item 3, public comments on agenda items. We do not have any public comments this evening. And so we'll move on to item 4.01, crash report. We also do not have a crash report this evening. So then we move to 4.02, a PTA report, which we do have.
Good evening. Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Bedell, and guests. My name is Michael Vasquez. My pronouns are they, them. I'm president of the Anne Arundel County Council of PTAs. At our May meeting last week on May 12th, 2025, we voted on some proposed bylaw amendments, which were passed to become in compliance with the new changes from the state and federal PTAs. We also announced the winner of the $5,000 AACC PTA's Future Leadership Scholarship. I'm not going to give the name, but a student from Meade High School was selected from a total of 80 applications. We'd like to celebrate all our applicants, and I would like to thank the 10 judges who reviewed the 32 finalist applications to award the scholarship this year. At our next meeting on June 9th, the AACC PTA's executive board elections will take place, and the meeting starts at 5:30. We will also be joined by some members of the, I guess it's a task force who's talking about or investigating, I'm not really sure what it is, the elementary school grading policy. So they're going to reach out to us at the June meeting as well to get some PTA feedback. So we're asking that all PTAs select one member to attend this meeting and get that information about the grading policy, and also to vote for the candidates for office. The Free State PTA Summer Convention is taking place later this summer, and the early bird registration ends May 31st, and we encourage all PTAs to register and attend. One thing that has come up is that several PTAs still need to complete their annual report, PPR. If your PTA needs help with this report or with overcoming any compliance issues, please email our treasurer at treasurer@aaccpta.org. This is my last meeting as the president of AACPTA, so I want to applaud everybody in the organization for their ongoing advocacy for policies that serve to support all our teachers, school-based staff, and every child. We encourage all community members to join us in this effort by working together to help our schools and students grow, thrive, and succeed. We ask that all community members join us in supporting AACPS students, teachers, and school staff by recognizing their humanity, and respecting the dignity of those community members who are LGBTQ+, learning disabled, struggling financially or physically, who might be battling against addiction, mental health problems, or other medical issues. And if you are wondering how you can help, one of the best ways you can do that is actually to join your local PTA and volunteer any amount of time that you can any month during the month. I'd also like to take a moment to thank all of you on the board, Dr. Bedell, the AACPS staff, and our school PTAs and communities for all your support through my term at AACPTA. Wish you the best, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. We'd like to also thank you so much for your service. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item 4.03, our CCAC report.
Hello. Hi, I am Secretary of the CCAC. And I'd like to start with thanking the board for their support of special education and support of the full 155 position request for special education positions. We also appreciate the county executive for funding 28 positions, as we need to continue to increase position allocation to support the increased number of students with disabilities as well as their growing needs. So thank you. This year, the AASECAC board has done a lot to support special education in Anne Arundel County. In September of 2024, we had our first meeting of the year. We primarily discussed the input survey and gathered topic ideas from the board, AACPS staff, parents, and advocates. These topic ideas continue to give us insight on what is needed in special education. Some of these topics include transitions from elementary to middle school to high school, SES, supplemental education services for teachers of students with autism, legal rights for parents and how to escalate a concern through the appropriate and efficient departments, occupational therapy, ADHD, twice exceptional students, and more. In October, we had our annual resource fair. This is a favorite for parents and advocates. We got together over 16 resources for families and advocates. Some of these included AACPS programs, Kennedy Krieger, the Parents' Place of Maryland, Gigi's Playhouse, and more. Everyone is able to mingle through the tables, talk to representatives, and bring home helpful information and resources for their children. We plan to do this again and continue to reach out to resources for AACPS families and advocates. Our November meeting was another favorite as we had another screening of Normal Isn't Real. Not sure if you've seen it, but it's wonderful. Success with Learning Disabilities and ADHD at Watchapel Theater. This inspiring film features the stories of 4 young adults with LD, ADHD issues sharing their journeys, success, and work in school, and the strategies they use to manage their challenges. The December meeting composed of a wonderful presentation from the ARC of Maryland and the ARC of Chesapeake, Together We're Better, and Partners for Success presented Your Rights in Special Education. The ARC continues to be a great advocate for special education and resource for parents and students. They provide services like education and job employment from birth to death. They also advocate for the people with disabilities by working with lawmakers and attending legislative sessions. Partners for Success provided education on parental rights and discussed IDEA. Our January meeting included a presentation by AACPS Division of Specialized Instruction. This presentation was very informative on IEPs, the 6 principles of IDEA, Child Find, Understanding the Evaluation Process, FAPE, Free Appropriate Public Education, LRE, Least Restrictive Environment, Parent and Student Participation, procedural safeguards, and much more. In-depth discussion and many parent questions were answered by the end. February's meeting brought in AACPS Birth to 5 services to discuss articulation before kindergarten. This discussion included the process for transition to kindergarten, general education classrooms, and self-contained classrooms, reading CKLA, Math Reveal, special education services, and kindergarten school visits. CCAC's March meeting was the Science of Reading in AACPS, presented by AACPS Division of Specialized Instructions and Division of Curriculum, Instruction and Assessment. This was an in-depth discussion that included information on goals in reading, M-Class, Dibbles, SIPs, iReady, the Wilson Reading System, Dr. Fidel's 100-day plan, Surreal intervention programs, STA intervention program, and HQIM resources. Our April meeting was a nice presentation from Bello McCree, Navigating Disability Services and Planning for Lifelong Support. This wonderful resource discussed how and when to apply for DDA, Developmental Disabilities Administration Services, the waiver form for Medicaid, Family Supports, Community Supports, and Pathway Supports, and DOORS, Division of Rehabilitation Services. The last meeting of the year just happened, and we discussed MSDE, Blueprint, and Work Group. The work group collects data and discusses expectations for students with disabilities, integration of general education and special education, multi-tiered system of supports response to intervention, IEP development and implementation, teacher quality, preparation, certification, and professional learning, service delivery, staffing patterns, and working conditions, funding for evidence-based instruction and necessary staffing, least restrictive environment, significant disproportionality, authentic parent and family partnerships, early childhood infants and toddlers, secondary transition, students with most significant cognitive disabilities, behavior and discipline. You can view the blueprint on MSDE website, or for families to be aware. The initial report was published in December of 2023 and provided background information, relevant data, national best practices, and research in addition to initial findings and recommendations from the work group. The interim report was published in July of 2024. The final report was published in December of 2024 and included recommendations approved to date, but because SEW were ongoing through January 2025, did not include comprehensive overview of all finalized recommendations. The work group has until May 30th to submit any additional products and reports. Thank you all again for your time and continued support of special education.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're moving on to item 4.04, our CAC report. We do not have a CAC report this evening. So moving on to item 4.05, our policy committee report.
Yes, the policy committee met on May 13th, and we had robust discussions about policy AE wellness, policy JAB assignment and transfer of students, policy JCD student attire and personal appearance, and a new policy due to state law, policy JU student telehealth. The suggested edits for policy AE wellness amounted to technical edits, while first reader of policy JAB, JCD, and JU will occur later this evening. I want to thank Ms. Wilson, as always, for her wonderful help, and as well as to her staff, and also to Mr. Vokeland for providing such helpful information to the committee during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shaheim. We're going to be moving on to item 4.06, a budget committee report. We do not have a report this evening, but we do know that the budget committee will be meeting. Their next meeting will be on June 16th. It'll be a virtual meeting at 12 p.m. So moving on to item 4.07, our president's report. So we've been busy, so if you bear with me. On May the 12th, Dr. Bedell, Matt Stansky, Dr. Heiser, myself, and some of my colleagues, distinguished colleagues, we appeared in front of the Anne Arundel County Council for a presentation by Dr. Bedell and staff as we advocated for the Board of Education budget. Many questions were asked by our county council members, and we look forward to the next step when we hear from the county council their budget recommendations. We absolutely appreciate the collaborative process, and we appreciate the great support that we have received thus far from County Executive Pittman and his great staff. We all do what we do for our great students in Anne Arundel County to help them belong, grow, and succeed. On May the 13th, we attended the AACPS Innovators of Science and Engineering Challenge Awards held at Marley Middle School. I have to tell you, the first part of the program was amazing. It was a magic show. I believe the gentleman's name was Joe Romano, as I remember, Joe Romano, the magician. But the teacher, he constantly asked this large group, a very diverse group, probably 300 students. Boy, who could teach a class of 300 students? He was doing this, and he had them spellbound. He kept asking the large group of students, was it science or was it magic, as he did his trick? I have to tell you that the kids always got it right. They knew it was science, it wasn't magic. Everyone did a fantastic job. Mr. Romano did a great job of entertaining and teaching students about science, and it was absolutely a very fun event. Learning can be fun, and it was. So Afterwards, there were a lot of awards given out to all of the students who participated in the science challenge. And so a shout out to every single student that won awards that evening. On May the 14th, I attended an MSDE training session with Dr. Bedell and Dr. Pugh at the Doubletree Hilton Hotel in Annapolis. And the focus was on data. Dr. Bedell, is that a subject you know a little about?
It is.
I thought so. So while it was interesting, it really was not new to AACPS because we do use data to drive our initiatives. And our recent data, by the way, is fantastic. We're moving in the right direction. On May the 14th, many of us attended the Center of Applied Technology North Awards night at CAT North. As always, it was a great event showcasing the great work our students have been doing at CAT North. On May the 15th, my colleagues and I attended Military Service Award dinner in honor of Candace C. W. Antwine at Maggiano's in Annapolis. And Ms. Pullum, you have some comments about that you want to make? Brief?
Sure. I just want to thank all the members of the community, the board, and the elected officials that were able to join us. This past week, we had our award ceremony, and it really was a testament to the board and how we respect and honor our students that are transitioning and have enlisted in the military. We truly, they look at us one way, but we honor them and we respect them for their service that they're about to, and their journey that they're about to embark on. Again, this was special. The other reason it was special is because we are now making this an award, an endowment. So by the time our 4 years have concluded for this term, the goal is to have this endowment so that we can continue in perpetuity giving out awards to our students who have decided to serve. This is important because we have scholarships for everything, but we don't have anything to honor our students who have decided to serve and protect our country. So thank you for that. Thank you everyone who attended. Thank you everyone who supported in any way. We are ready for next year, and we will be sharing the date with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Pullum. So I would also like to congratulate on behalf of this board our 3 honorees. Once again, that's Stanza Haven, Kimberlyn Oriana, and Nevaeh Queen. And we certainly wish all 3 of them the best of luck. There were many highlights of this event, but I will tell you that one of the highlights of the event, other than the presentation, was the singing of the national anthem. So the national anthem was sung extremely well by County Councilman Pete Smith, County Councilwoman Lisa Rodvian, and County Councilman Nathan Volkey. So think about that. We had some of our Democrats and Republicans together. They were working together, singing together. It was amazing. So I'd like to thank those 3 for that. And Ms. Pullum, I just have to, again, thank you so much for the organization and everything. And I'd like to thank also Ms. Schauheim for helping us keep the memory of Ms. Antwine alive. Thank you so much.
Mr. Silkworth, it really
Yes.
was team effort. I just want you to know we all did it as a team. So thank you.
It certainly was. Thank you. So on May the 19th, a workshop was held here in the boardroom to provide an update on the school system's formulation of a new long-range facilities plan that will guide school construction over the coming decade. We'd like to thank Dr. Bedell, Dr. Heiser, Kyle Roof, and all of the staff who put together a great presentation and informative presentation for this board. Information about the plan can be found at www.aacps.org/facilitiesplan. AACPS is accepting public comments on the plan at that site through June the 1st, 2025. And I urge everyone to make use of this portal to provide your input. Just a few more items. On May the 20th, we attended the TPEP, that's a Teen Parent Educational Program celebration held at the Kingdom Celebration Center in Gambrills. 13 of our students, 13 young women, were recognized for completing their high school experiences as teen parents. The powers of relationship and gratitude were clearly evident as each one of these students spoke about their individual journeys. Tears were flowing. I have to tell you, they really were flowing. But the good news is they were all tears of joy. Congratulations goes out to the 13 young women. We look forward to them walking across the stage to receive their diploma at their homeschool graduation at Live. And finally, earlier today, we attended the inaugural State of the Schools, our vision for impact in 2025 and beyond at the Blackwall Barn and Lodge in Gambrels. I just have to say this truly was a great event, and I have to congratulate Dr. Bedell for doing a fantastic job of showing with data that the investment in our school systems over the past few years are paying huge dividends. We're ahead of schedule in our journey from being a good system to becoming a great system. And I'm going to leave it at that because more is to come from Dr. Bedell. So that concludes the president's report. We'll move on to item 4.08, our superintendent's report. Dr. Bedell.
All right.
Oh, just a second. We have a light Miss Dent.
So I would be remiss if I did not say what a wonderful job that the
Educational Foundation.
well, not only education, but I'm talking about the teen pregnancy program and the individuals that put together last night's spectacular event. I've been to quite a few graduations, but I will tell you that I don't want to call out names, but I will. It was probably the most heart-wrenching, heartfelt graduation that I've ever been a part of, and I can tell you it changed not only the lives of the young women that was in the room, but I heard comments from everyone that was in attendance to the graduation, how listening to their stories. So whoever made the decision to have them speak and share their few moments, it really meant the world to the individuals that were in the audience. So that to me meant the world to me. But I'd also say that I had the other pleasure of sitting beside our very own Miss Jackson. I had the pleasure of providing her tissue after tissue after tissue until all the tissue was gone. And I say that in love because that will tell you just how much passion that she had for the program. So I know if I can say if it was one person in the audience that truly supported the program and truly felt what I felt, I know it was my comrade standing right beside me. So thank you to everyone. And I know some of you are in the room, but I just could not let the night go out with say thanking you all for everything that you have done. Thank you.
So, Miss Jackson, there were a lot of tears. I was right next to her. But as I said, they were tears of joy. That made that event extremely special. So I agree with you. Thank you so much. Okay, seeing no more lights, Dr. Bedell.
Thank you. There were indeed a lot of tears for many reasons. I really enjoyed it and had a great time. And I did watch that box of tissues dwindle down with Miss Jackson. All right. So thank you, Mr. President. As Mr. Silkworth said earlier, this morning, our Education Foundation put on an amazing State of Schools event that allowed us to interact with elected officials and members of the business community and to talk about ways they could help us in our mission. The event featured an incredible performance from Crofton High School's dance company, and a great panel discussion in which I was asked questions by 3 of our students. Thanks to Joe Callahan for his ongoing work to transform the Education Foundation and to everyone who helped to put today's event together. We are just at the tip of the iceberg around what we can do with this Ed Foundation. Next, I want to recognize the fact that we had 6 schools that earned accolades from the Maryland Green Schools program this year. Arnold Elementary, High Point Elementary, and Monarch Academy Public Charter Schools each earned green status for the first time. Annapolis High School renewed its status, while Magothy River Middle School was named a sustainable school, and Pasadena Elementary School earned sustainable bronze status. Our work in environmental education is just another way that we are creating well-rounded students and community citizens. In all, 52 AACPS schools have earned green school status. Congratulations to these schools and their students and employees. Congratulations as well to Annapolis Middle School for winning this year's AACPS Kindness Cup. This may seem like a trivial thing to some, but changing the conversations in this county means working directly with our students to do that at a school level as well. The Kindness Cup is a proactive and positive bullying prevention initiative created to improve school climate, increase student engagement, and incite advocacy. This year's theme was Welcome to Our Community, a place to belong, grow, and succeed. And students were encouraged to promote kindness and inclusiveness through a video project. Brooklyn Park Middle School finished second, and Meade Middle School was third. The videos can all be seen at www.aacps.org, Kindness Cup. I would encourage everyone to watch them. I usually end with our vacancy data, but I have something else I want to end on tonight, which is data related. Here, however, this is our regular update on vacancies, where we do a comparison from the previous school year to where we are now. We are actively working hard to recruit for the upcoming school year and encourage any of our community members to help us in this endeavor to get people to apply for the openings you see here and many others that are located on our human resources website. Finally, one of the things I'm most proud of over the last 3 years is the pathway we have created for students to be able to succeed on the SAT. Our efforts and the full support of this board mean that every single high school student in our district now has that opportunity. And that opportunity is free of charge to take some form of the pre-SAT during the school day 3 times before they take the SAT during the school day in the 11th grade. We have worked hard to make that happen, and I believe we are the only school system in Maryland to do this for all 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. As you have heard me say often, we need to create opportunities for our students to belong, then help them grow so they can succeed. That's exactly what you will see here. Look at these numbers from this year alone. So let's look at this. This is pre-SAT 8-9 administration. We gave this to our freshmen in the fall, 2 months after they came back from school, and you can see these scores. We are above the state in both measures, either counting just public schools or counting all schools, which includes data inclusive of private schools. But also look, everybody, this is important. Look at where we are compared to the US and the world. And here's a bigger piece. Nearly 1/3 of Maryland public school test takers on the pre-SAT 8-9, they came from our school district. So this lets you all know that we're not cherry picking what students get access. This is all of our students in our school district. And honestly, everybody, just from a data standpoint, when you think about how our kids are performing on MCAPs, this tells a whole different story about where our kids are. This tells you a different story about how serious these kids are when it comes to these norm reference assessments. And I want our kids to understand that MCAPs are important. It is how we get our individual school accountability, but for some reason, our kids don't necessarily see value in MCAPs. That's just the flat out reality of it. And it's something that I'm going to have a conversation with the state superintendent about all of this on the 28th of May. I want to unpack this data because this data gives us some real information on what we're doing in this school district. And honestly, we don't want to mislead people to think that our kids can't read and write based on a data that's telling us that only 14% of them can pass an MCAP math assessment, when this is telling you something totally different. And this data will be available for our community to look over. I want to look at this next slide. This is pre-SAT 10, grade 10 average scores. This is given in April. This is the data that our sophomores took this spring. 84% of the test takers at Maryland Public Schools are AACPS students, and our average score is higher than 3 of the 4 groups that you see on this screen. 2% higher than our traditional public school systems. We're 10 lower than when you add in the private schools, 9 higher at the US, and 9 higher at global level. And this is important for everybody to understand. This is data that we've obtained from the College Board with students who took this same exam on these particular days across the country and across the world. And so, again, more promise in terms of what we're doing. On the next slide, let's take a look at our 11th graders. 4,600 of them took the pre-SAT in October. You can see where we are compared to other groups on the right. Now, this is the one area where everybody, I believe, across the state in the grade 11 is required. So you see a larger sample size across MSDE, across the state, US, and global, because this is not optional. We want to be able to make those determinations on who your future national merit scholars and all of those things. But you can see here, we're 4 points lower than MSDE, 17 lower than the state with private schools, 5 higher than the US, 4 higher than global. And again, everybody, as I've said to Chris Papp today when we did an interview with him, we're not going to hide data. We're not manipulating. We're going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's some areas in here where we have to work on it, but I'm going to put data out here in its rawest form because that's the only way that people will know how to help us. Now, SAT averages, and this is something really important on this next slide. So these are our students, those same juniors who now have taken the actual SAT last month. Roughly 4,200 of those 4,600 students who took the pre-SAT in October took the SAT in April. The growth in average scores for those students is 9 points. But look at the right and look at how we compare. You can see now on their actual SATs, 978 is our score, 25 points higher than MSDE, 17 higher than the state with privates, 15 points higher with US, and 14 higher with global test takers. I want to thank this board and our team because we have created a pipeline of preparation that is allowing more students to have access and is creating more student success. And then lastly, the term college readiness is used in almost every conversation with regard to Blueprint and beyond. So let's talk about that. Here's a look at our juniors and their results from the fall and spring of this year. Even with the change in cut scores by the College Board to determine college readiness, you see increases in both reading, writing, and math. Everyone in our district at every level should be proud of these results. We're going to continue to work to make them better. But what this data is also telling you, for the students who took the practice exam, the 4,250 that took both the pre-SAT and SAT, those 4,200 students, their actual SAT score was 1,010 points. So the importance of kids getting these dry runs is critical. That's scholarship money, that's entrance into different universities. All of these types of things are at stake. Those 4,200 kids have a huge advantage when they average 1,010. And so we will continue to push forward. I just received this information from the state lacrosse championships that Severna Park's girls finished as the state runner-up. They lost to Marriott's Ridge 12-11 in the finals. I do want to congratulate Severna Park on a great year. Severna Park boys lacrosse team is competing right now. They have won 8 state championships. They're playing Marriott's Ridge in the boys state finals right now. Broadneck tomorrow night, both the boys and the girls are in the state title game. They will be playing Urbana, I think it's Urbana High School, both of those teams. And we have several other teams competing for state titles as we continue to move forward with our spring sports. Mr. President, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell. Okay. So we're going to be moving on to item 5.01, a presentation, summer offerings and food services program for our students. Ms. Ricci.
All right, thank you. Ms. Ricci is coming up, and I did want to honestly extend my congratulatory remarks to you for a job well done. I know you've been in this district over 30 years, and you've done just a phenomenal job with food services. As you all know, she is retiring, and this will be her last formal presentation to this school board. So before she get into it, can we just stand up and give her a round of applause for a job well done? Much respect to you, and look forward to this wonderful presentation you put together.
Very good, thank you. Good evening, President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, members of the board, and Dr. Burdell. For the record, I'm Jody Rissy. I'm the Director of Food and Nutrition Services for this great county, Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Tonight, I have the opportunity to share with you a little bit about our upcoming changes and enhancements that we have with the summer meals for the summer of 2025. The Summer Food Service Program, which we call SFSP, or you might want to say it's the Summer Meals Program, is sponsored and it's a program by USDA. It provides free meals to children 2 to 18 in underserved areas or low-income areas. It's sponsored by sponsors like us in Anne Arundel County receive reimbursement for those meals when students come and pick them up, the 2 to 18-year-olds. Our state agency, MSDE, is responsible for administering the program, overseeing the program, and they do reviews of us every 3 years. The cross-agency collaboration that we have is huge. So this started back in about 2007, and we started working with the Department of Health, and the map that you see on the left-hand side is called our food environment map. You can see there's schoolhouses on it, there's areas with blue etching that would be food deserts. It's in pockets. It's in the north. We have it in the west. We have a little bit of a pocket in Annapolis, and we have the lower area, which is South County. When we look at these areas with the Department of Health and our other fellow Anne Arundel County departments, like the Department of Health, the library, the police department, the fire department, and the recreation and parks, we look at how can we enhance our services during the summer at these higher 50% or greater free and reduced priced area eligible schools, and enhance with dental care, with jump ropes. We've done everything. Our current market is really trying to issue as many books, free books as we can during the summer. So we're really enhancing that reading time while they're in school, and especially when school is let out. So that's a partnership that we're doing with the county library and with our own very own Anne Arundel Media Services right here in our county. Our operations meet all the USDA meal patterns. That is our line, the picture to the right, which we are so proud of with all of our fruits and vegetables that we do in Anne Arundel County. Breakfast, they receive something like breakfast bread. They might be able to get a cinnamon Chex cereal. They get juice and they get milk. At lunch, we serve the favorite items to all of our students that they get during the school year. So it could be Korean barbecue meatballs. They obviously get their favorite taco and pizza, and many other items, along with hot vegetables, cold vegetables, fresh fruits, as well as some canned fruits, like just a peaches or a mixed fruit cup. They take 3 items for breakfast, and they can pick and choose as long as they pick 3 during lunch. So it's a very well-balanced meal for all of our students who participate and our community members during the summer. This is a little snapshot of our history. So we're going to go back to 2007, the year I started as the Director of Food and Nutrition Services, and we served 22,877 meals. I'll be honest, that year I felt it was like the best ever. What a great year. We went out there and we were really serving these summer meals because we didn't do many prior to this year. You can see as we added services, we added mobile meal routes, we extended mobile meal routes. We continue to add, we doubled and even more than doubled our meal participation from 2007 until pre-COVID. The important thing to notice on this screen is the meals must be consumed on site. Okay, so if you have children and you come to one of our meal sites for summer meals, they have to have the meal there. They're not allowed to take it home. They can't, we don't feed parents, aunts and uncles. It's really just for the children 2 to 18. All meals consumed on site. And you see right through 2019, we were up to 96,000 meals. So it was a huge growth and great possibility and opportunity for us to keep our students fueled really all summer long. 2021, sky's the limit. They put a waiver in place, which was USDA, and they said, if you're serving meals, we were doing it on the curb in schools, we were doing it anywhere and everywhere we could in communities, we went up to 324,000 summer meals. Again, I think a big part of that was the waiver in place, which we said, here's the meal, you can now go home, right? We loved it, communities loved it, and we were able to open our meal service in the summer to all schools. So we really operated in Severna Park. We operated everywhere in Anne Arundel County to really make sure that our students were fueled. In 2023, the waivers went away. All right, so USDA came back with new regulations for us, and they said it's time to go backwards. We have to go back to 2019. Waivers are no longer going to be afforded to districts that were going to operate and offer school meals. And you can see our participation went down drastically, right? We couldn't just hand them a meal. They weren't able to take it home. They were eating on site with us. And then last summer, we even saw a bigger decrease in numbers. So it really had us reflecting, what do we want to do looking into the summer of 2025? How do we look at our meal sites? There's closed enrolled sites and there's open sites. The closed enrolled sites are where we have and we offer summer programming, the enrichment programming, the program that we do with curriculum in all of our schools. And that's a closed enrolled site. So our students, our family, our community are not allowed to come into the building for free summer meals unless they're enrolled in the program. The great news is all of our students that are enrolled in the program get free breakfast and free lunch. We could do community buildings, which could be faith-based. We've worked with different rec and park sections at parks, you name it. And then we do mobile meals. Mobile meals started in 2011, and that's where we take our vans into the community and we select where students are. They might not have a walking trail. They might not be able to get to a school or to a faith-based or to a community center. So we go to them, and that's where we would be providing the meals. That is called an open site, and that's where anybody can come and receive the free summer meal. The trick here, again, in red, is all meals must be consumed on site, right? With our numbers going down, knowing that the meals have to be consumed on site, and hearing from our parents saying, we want to take the meals like we did in 2021. Just let us take the meals. There was a new rural designation, which is designated by USDA. If your school becomes rural or your site, you're allowed to grab and go with meals. It was available last year and we only had one site. We chose not to implement it. The good news is this year we're going to implement 6 sites that are rural. So when we look at the determination of how do we determine where we're going to do our meal sites, we look at those schools that have 50% free or reduced priced eligibility. Could be a community center that's also in that same encompassing area that would be 50%. We look at the mobile meals. Should we add a mobile meal? Should we take a site away? And then the rural locations, which is brand new, it says as long as USDA says it's a rural site, we can open, we can serve to the whole community. It's an open site. They drive up, they walk up, they grab the meal, and they get to take it home. This is a summary of 2024 to 2025, our closed enroll sites to our open sites. So on the surface, you look at it and you're like, wow, we're going to go down to 51 summer sites. It seems so low when we had 70. But we're able to add 6 sites that are going to be rural, that we think the participation will be great and grand, and we'll really be able to service all of it. And you're going to see where it is. It's all in South County, the rural right now, and one is at Brockbridge. So a lot of the numbers stayed the same. The 6 new rural sites are brand new. And the biggest difference is our closed enrolled sites, which is in the summer of 2025, where we're going to 25 sites. That's where we have summer programming, enrichment programming, programming with curriculum. Those 25 sites will be closed and not open to the public. But every student that's involved in those programs will get free breakfast and free lunch. Again, the rationale, we had to look at it. When you think back to that timeline and looking at the history, we grew, we topped out. It was fantastic in our COVID years with the waivers, and then we started to see a decline. So we wanted to really analyze again that data. Data is so important to Dr. Bedell. Data was important to us for this decision. We saw the reduction in meal participation. Parents and students were saying, we don't want to come out. we're not going to be able to come out. We want to grab the meal and go. And that would have us non-compliant or in harm's way with MSDE and USDA. So we didn't want to continue to lose meal participation. We wanted to make sure the sites were accessible, they were efficiently located, and most importantly, were our staff really having good use of their time. We had a school last year that only 4 students came to the school. So all summer, we only saw 4 students. So we knew we had to look at it a little bit differently for the summer of 2025. Can't tell, but that is the map of Anne Arundel County on the left-hand side. They're all of our school locations that we're going to operate for the summer of 2025. There's rural designations on there, and there's also open sites. If the school or the location doesn't have anything after it, it's going to be closed, and we're just going to service the students that are, or the children 2 to 18 that are going to be inside of those, community centers or our schools. Here's a closer look at all of the north and the west. You could see plenty of meal sites will be open where we're serving our students. The black dots with the lines are all of our mobile meal locations. So the same 3 locations we had in North County, which are open to all, are going to maintain again for this summer. We also have the 4 locations in West Mead or the Mead area. They were open, West Mead opened, or the Mead area opened in 2011. They're all going to be existing and coming back again this year. And then Brockbridge is the one yellow site. So they are rural. And I believe when you look at it in the map, it's just all the green space they have behind them. So it's not necessarily rural when you think of it to South County, but in the map it works. So we're going to open Brockbridge as a rural site, having parents register. They can come pick up their meals and they get to take them home to their children. Here's the Annapolis area, which is the center. Again, the same 6 mobile sites which service the communities that are listed there. Open to all 2 to 18-year-olds are the same 6 sites that we've had for many years. And then all the other schools and or community agencies are listed there. No rural in the city of Annapolis or in the center of our county. And then this is the biggie. So South County, very different. We're not going to have an open site in any of our traditional sense as we did in 24 or all of the years since 2007 when we really started to monitor all of our numbers. So Maryland Manor, Boone's Mobile Estates, and Lions Creek are all rural sites. Everybody's going to be able to come to that van. We're going to be there for a half hour. They get to pick up their meals and they get to take it home. We're also going to open Lothian Elementary School and Tracy's Elementary School for the same reason. So at those 2 locations, we almost envision where the parents will either be driving through, there might be a student on a bike, but that's going to be really more of a pick up and go for all of these 5 locations that you see in front of you. The mobile routes of what changed, I talked about them a little bit already. So South County had 2 that were just traditional mobile where you had to eat on site. They're now going to go to rural where you get to take it home. Lothian had 4 sites. So they are going to go down to 1 site. It's just going to be Maryland Manor. But again, students and families that can get to Maryland Manor are going to be able to grab those summer meals. We are going to serve at those rural sites. I forgot to say it earlier, breakfast and lunch. On Thursdays, they're going to get breakfast and lunch for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're able to provide at all 6 rural sites meals for 7 days a week. So the numbers here are very, very similar in our mobile. And it's really the best way that we can reach our community and our 2 to 18-year-olds, because a 7 or an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, they can come up right to our site. So again, this is 2 pictures of the map. Hard to see the map on the back, but you could see the red from 2024 are the pieces that we lost in 2025. A lot of those red sites that we had in 2024 were sponsored by AACPS. So when we had different funding streams for schools that did not reach the 50% free or reduced, we had funding from AACPS, which is no longer available. And there's schools that aren't eligible really for the summer meals program. So the biggest difference is losing some of those red, which are sites that would not be approved through USDA. The new sites are in blue. The rural sites, like I mentioned, that's the biggest impact for us that we're going to see, I think, this summer are 6 of them. Brockbridge on the far west, everything in the south will go rural. And then our mobile meals will stay the same at all the other locations that we had for many, many years in Anne Arundel County. That's that's summer meals in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions or share any other information with you.
Ms. Stanton?
So first of all, I don't know how Dr. Bedell is letting you leave, but you're always welcome to come back.
Thank you.
I can tell you that I've listened to you do this now for going on 3 years. This is my 4th iteration of this. And I always had a lot of questions, but I'm not telling you, when you knocked it out the park this time, I mean, you are going out with a bang. I'm not joking.
Thank you.
I'm always worried, as you know, about the walk-ups. I'm always worried about the children that can't take meals off. And so, boy, I was doing backflips when I hear you say on Thursday they can pick up for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because nothing breaks my heart than to see a child that's hungry. And so for me, this is not only keeping the program safe. I was just speaking with someone the other night and told them that please tune in so that they can hear the program. I had no idea at that time what you was going to say, but boy, did I tell them the right time to tune in. So thank you very much for what you're doing, and good luck on your next chapter, because I know they say you're retiring, but good luck on your next chapter.
Thank you.
Ms. Shalhan?
Oh, you're going to be missed. I think this is my 7th presentation. Just thank you for your service to our county, to our kids. I know what we're about to hear later on in the agenda, and your ability to stretch every penny is incredible. And yeah, this is a real loss for us, but I know you'll enjoy whatever's next, retirement. And yeah, just thank you for everything.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ms. Bull?
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting you just the other day, and I'm really sad that you're retiring, because I could feel your energy and your passion for what you do. So I have not had that pleasure, but I just want to thank you. When you think about District 7 in South County and the news that you just delivered, taking us into that rural designation, that's a game changer for my community, and I can't thank you enough. And to say that you no longer have to eat on site, but you can take your food home, eat it with your family, it's huge. And I don't know how to thank you, but I thank you. My community thanks you. And exactly what Ms. Stent said, there's nothing better when you think of belong, grow, and succeed. If nutrition is not in your normal day life, then you're never going to be able to meet the others. So go away knowing that you're a part of the solution. And I thank you so much on behalf of South County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. McFarland?
Thank you so much for this. I did have one question. You mentioned something about pre-registering. Is that at all rural sites you must pre-register?
So if a student comes up, we're going to just maintain lists for our students. If a parent wants to come up and pick up the meals, as we did in COVID, they do have to pre-register. To date, Tracy's and Lothian have been really knocking it out of the park, concentrating really in Boone's and Lyons, as well as Maryland Manor. We probably have over 100 registrations already. So our goal was to start as soon as MSDE approved the program for us through USDA. We already were with principals, and they've already been out in the communities. So if they show up on the spot, we will have forms for them.
Okay, good.
And they'll be able to use them at that point. The nice part about, the program, wherever it is, and, in the open site as well, if a family in Tracy's has family visiting, they can come on the spot. We'll do a registration with them on the spot. And if they have children 2 to 18, they also will be able to take meals.
Good. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Although I would prefer that everybody could just come pick up. I love that you can think creatively, you know that word, creatively, to make this happen for our students. So I appreciate that. And as a small aside, my daughter, who's on home and hospital, just told me yesterday, I miss school lunch.
Yay.
So
You'll have to ask her what's her favorite and let me know.
So thank you for everything.
So, Miss Ritchie, what can I say? Was it 30 years?
Yeah, I'm going on 32.
32.
It's hard to believe. When I came, I was like, will I stay that long? And I've loved every minute of it.
Well, it's like most of our teachers, they do what they do because they love what they do. And in my mind, you've hit it out of the ballpark every single year that you've been with us. So we are going to miss you. If I have any nutrition issues, can I call you? Stay in touch. Thank you so much for your service. It
Thank
is
you.
greatly appreciated. And I mean, I think we have to give this gal a standing ovation.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to try not to cry. Thank you.
So, Ms. Ricci, I'm going to give you an opportunity to see if you have any comments.
Ugh. All I can say is
I'm
thank
not
you.
trying to put you on the spot.
All I can say is thank you. I think fueling the students all year long has been our mission. It's on our vans. I'm gonna like lose it maybe. I'm gonna try not to. Thank you for your support. I travel across the country. I present in so many different, state and national conferences. And I think I truly am in a very special place because others don't have what we have here. So from board to exec team, the superintendent, my team is truly the best team in the whole wide world. And without them, we couldn't do any of it, right? Like when COVID happened, we said, hey, we're going to go serve, meals on the curb. What do you think? We didn't know how to do it. We just went and did it. So I think the team is phenomenal. You're in great position here as a district. Our numbers continue to go up. The support is immense, and it's been an honor. It's a true honor and a pleasure to serve the students in the communities of Anne Arundel County. So for that, I thank you.
Well, we thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item 6.01 to 6.10, consent items, award of contracts. Do I hear a motion to bundle?
Motion to bundle consent items 6.01 to 6.10.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Do we have consensus? And we do. Okay, Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education authorize the award of contracts on the consent items numbered 6.01 through 6.10.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, Ms. Howe.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
And Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, moving on to action item 7.01, administrative personnel appointments. Dr. Bedell.
Mr. President, the superintendent recommends that the personnel listed on the attached sheet be promoted and or appointed as discussed in executive close.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Howe.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, on first reading, item 7.02, assignment and transfer of students to a school, code JAB.
Mr. President, Grace Wilson will come up to take us through the next three agenda items as it pertains to policy.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell. Good evening, President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, members of the board. I'm Grace Wilson, Senior Specialist for Legislation and Policy for the district. Policy JAB, assignment and transfer of students to a school, is before you on first reading this evening before being posted for a 30-day public comment period. This policy was last revised in 2015 and was scheduled for review at the request of staff to update the policy to align with our current practices. The recommended changes to the policy include expanding the policy purpose to include the transfer of students between schools and updating the issue statement to include references to state law requirements and more appropriately reflect board values. I'd like to thank Ryan Boatlin and his team, our Assistant Superintendent for Student Services, for his assistance revising this policy. And with that, Ryan and I are available to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, I'm seeing no lights. So thank you for that. I think we can move on to item 7.03, student attire and personal appearance, code JCD.
Thank you, Mr. Silkworth. Policy JCD, student attire and personal appearance, is also before you for first reading this evening before being posted for a 30-day public comment period. This policy was scheduled for review this school year at the request of a board member. And the changes to the policy include adding position statement C2, which permits students to choose to wear their hair however they would like, unless there's a concern for student health or safety. Adding language to ensure that this policy does not contribute to a hostile or intimidating atmosphere for students, and adding language establishing that students have the right to be treated equitably and with dignity, including in the enforcement of this policy. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions you have.
Okay, once again, I'm seeing no lights, so that's the first reading for that. So we're moving on to also first reading policy adoption 7.04, student telehealth, code JU.
Thank you, Mr. Silkworth. Policy JU, student telehealth, is a new policy that is before you on first reading for adoption this evening before being posted for the 30-day public comment period. There was state law passed in 2024 that required local boards to develop policy on student telehealth before the start of the 25-26 school year. The State Department of Education and Health were required to work together to develop guidelines for schools in implementing student telehealth services. That guidance and staff recommendations are the basis of the policy that's before you this evening. Staff are recommending at this time that, given that this is an unfunded mandate to provide student telehealth, that telehealth be limited to school and practitioner-initiated telehealth services for behavioral health only, using our existing partnerships and practices. And once again, want to thank Mr. Votlin and his team for their assistance developing this policy as well as the accompanying regulation. And with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, once again, I'm seeing no light. So we thank you so much, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you.
So moving on to item 7.05, Chesapeake Science Point Public Middle School schematic design development.
Mr. President, the superintendent recommends approval of the Chesapeake Science Point Public Charter Middle School schematic design and design development.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Howe.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 7.06, Chesapeake Science Point Public Charter School contract approval. Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the charter school renewal agreement with the governing board of Chesapeake Science Point Public Charter School.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Howe.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 7.07, Monarch Annapolis Public Contract School contract approval.
Thank you. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the contract renewal agreement with the governing board of Monarch Academy Annapolis Public Contract School.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Howe.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Item 7.08, Food and Nutrition Services pricing for 2025-2026 school year. Dr. Bedell.
Mr. President, superintendent recommends no increase in the food and nutrition services pricing for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Shawn.
Yes, I do have a couple of questions in light of various economic things going on in our country, about how, like, what kind of magic did she employ to do this? given the fact that inflation is what it is and our national political landscape is what it is, tariffs, et cetera.
So, Ms. Reese, magic or science?
For the record, Jody Rissy, Director of Food and Nutrition Services. It is a little bit of magic and it's a lot of love, but we look at everything very closely, right? So we streamline our menu. We have great contracts in place. Our Buy American provision, which we do all the time, we have very little of non-Buy American, really bananas and one or two other items that are very small for us. Looking at it all the time and with a really keen eye and lens of getting the best products we can for our students at the best price affords us the opportunity to have a fund balance, right? So we still have a fund balance and we're able to maintain the prices just another year.
Wow, that's amazing. And no change to quality in light of all of those things.
No, the quality, and I say it every year when I'm up here, is exceptional. The salmon salad's back, all of our unlimited fruits and vegetables. We're one of the only districts in the country that allow students to fill their plates with fruits and vegetables. So we don't do anything on bread. I talk about it, right? We do a lot of our, teriyaki pot stickers to Korean barbecue meatballs. We did a great test tasting the other day of some new items that are coming out next year.
I heard.
So some really super items are on our menu. Nutritionally, with a registered dietitian look, they are top notch. So we would never jeopardize quality or student acceptance or what they taste based on cost.
I'm really delighted to hear it. It's good to, in a time where good news is hard to come by. This is some really good news for our kids.
Yep. So it's another year.
Thank you.
Ms. Polo?
Quick question. So any of the vegetables that you get, do you take them from any of the ag programs across the county?
So we don't. Prior to COVID, we were very actively involved with about 3 farmers that had enough crops for us to purchase. So when we purchase, it's thousands and thousands of pounds. So Schlegel Farm, which is down in Charles County, he was one of our biggest growers. Prior to COVID, he would even grow butternut squash, acorn squash, and we would roast those items. Right now with our, unfortunately on Dr. Bedell's staffing chart, we're still 89 short. So that's where we still have, I guess our biggest challenge is having staff in there to do all the roasting or all of those extra preparations that are needed with local. But the farmers call all the time. They're ready to produce for us again and harvest for us. It's just a matter of us having more staff and then being able to get those items on the
But
menu.
at least it's coming from the state and from our farmers. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor. I see no more lights. Ms. Howe?
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, we're moving on to item 7.09, request to the board for CAC member third-year term extension for 2025 and 2026. So we need a motion. This is the request to the board for CAC member third-year term extension for 25 and 26. Need a motion.
Motion to extend the board of the enclosed recommendation for CAC members to be extended for a third-year term extension, and the names are in your books.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing no lights. Ms. Howe?
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, so that brings us to item 8.0, public comments on non-agenda items, and we do not have any public comments this evening. Dr. Bedell?
Yeah, I just wanted to make this quick announcement. The Savannah Park Boys Lacrosse wins their 9th state championship with an 11-4 win over Marius Ridge.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell. Great news. So I'd like to remind everyone that the next general board meeting for this board will be Wednesday, June the 18th, 2025. It'll be a 12 p.m. Board meeting. And so We'd like to thank everybody for being with us here this evening. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Consensus? Have a great evening, everyone.